Hi there, welcome to Series 14 and number 22, and we're going to be talking about Abraham and Lot and this guy called Melchizedek. Abraham at one stage, and this is in chapter 14, he had to rescue Lot from a confederacy of kings. We're going to be reading from chapter 14 and beginning at verse 1. It says, and the title is The Rebellion of the Five Kings. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that they made war with Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemba, king of Zobim, and the king Bela, that is Zor. All these joined together in the valley of Siddim, that is the Salt Sea. 12 years they had served Chedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him came and attacked Rephaim in the Ashtaroth Canaim, the Zuzim in Haim, the Emin in Shavin Kiriathaim, and the Horites in the mountains of Sur, as far as Elpanan, which is by the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En Mishpat, that is Kadesh, and attacked all of the country of the Amalekites and also the Amorites who dwelt in Hazion Tamar. And the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zobim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor, went out and joined together in battle in the valley of Siddim against Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of nations, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings against 5. Now, the valley of Siddim was full of asphalt pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, and some fell there, and the remainder fled to the mountains. Yeah. That's some story, and there's lots of big names there. Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, they came and attacked the people who lived in Canaan in Abram's time. Well, that's what happened. That's the story. It just seems a little bit long-winded there. There were many among them interested in conquest and dominion. Yep, that's what was happening in that part of the world at that particular time. This confederation of kings who rebelled against Chedorlaomer wanted to be free of his domain. Yep. An archaeologist called Nelson Glueck documented the destruction left by these kings. He says, I found that every village in their path had been plundered and left in ruins, and the countryside was laid waste. The population had been wiped out or led away to captivity. For hundreds of years hereafter, the entire area was like an abandoned cemetery, hideously unkept, with all its monuments shattered and strewn in pieces on the ground. Wow. That's amazing, isn't it? That we actually have some record of it from archaeology to tell us these things. And it says also about the valley of Siddim, which was full of asphalt pits. They were fearful of asphalt pits in this region, and some fell there, as it said. The Hebrew here is a good example of how the language uses repetition to show emphasis. The Hebrew way of putting this whole thing was pits of bitumen and bitumen bits. So they just went over and over. Repetition expressed an abundance or, I suppose, a multitude. What's so important about these asphalt pits? Why mention them? They were dangerous. They were plentiful. And did I say they were dangerous? They could pop up rapidly, so you didn't exactly know where they were. And it was in the area that they ran away to that area. In other words, they ran to danger. They were scared. Yep, they were really scared if they did that. The 4 kings take Lot and all his possessions. In verse 11, it goes on and says, then they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their provisions and went their way. They also took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Whoa. They also took Lot, because Lot was Abram's brother's son. The group of 4 kings all of a sudden wanted to involve Abram. And Abram was a man of honour and the guardian of his family. So they thought that he was probably going to fight for his nephew's safety. They took his goods. Since Lot lived among the wicked people of Sodom, we are not surprised that he was taken captive. So Uncle Abram, if you want to call him that, was rich, so a logical pick for a ransom. But notice, Lot lived in Sodom. Remember, he chose the good fertile land and when him and Uncle Abraham separated. That included Sodom and Gomorrah. He ended up right in the middle of all of this and in the middle of the whole Sodom and Gomorrah evil stuff as well. Here's an interesting quote from Spurgeon, actually, about Lot's position. Those believers who conform to the world must be expected to suffer for it. Well, that's fairly astute, isn't it? Note too that all the provisions, in other words, provisions is the word, food and livestock and anything that was required to live, they took the whole lot.